Yeah, welcome back, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Prism Podcast, brought to you by Prism Smoke Shop. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today we have a special guest. We kind of threw him in here last minute. He did not even expect to be here. Adam.
It was supposed to be a
Kratom
business
Company.
business meeting, but we threw him in under
Yeah.
the. Okay.
So he didn't even expect us.
Supposed to be landing sales, and I get thrown on a podcast.
So that's I'm T. That's Dean. That's Adam.
So
So
today is going to be our first podcast. Happy to start it off. We're at the Prism Glass Gallery here at Union Road. Come through for your glass deals. Check it out. And then I wanted to talk about Adam, our star of the show. And if you can introduce yourself.
Sure, my name is Adam. I'm with the Kratom Company, founded about 4 years ago. We do sales all across the U.S. and work with Dean and T a bit. And they buy our Kratom from us, and so came through today to just see what was good with them, and they asked if I wanted to be on their podcast.
Yeah. All right. So for you guys that don't know, Kratom is like a supplement, an alternative supplement. It's still under the radar. It's not really mainstream. Of course, Adam knows more about it than us. So if you can explain to audiences who don't know what Kratom is.
Sure. So Kratom is typically from like Southeast Asia, like Indonesia, Malaysia, those parts of the world. It grows on a tree, really tall trees. It's relative to the coffee plant, and so people often in Indonesia will like just chew on the leaves from the tree. Yeah. But we have it imported into the U.S. and then it's grounded up into a fine powder, and then we either put it in capsules or we put it in powder bags, like you'll see here, or we'll extract the mitragine from it, which is basically what THC is to marijuana, mitragine is to kratom, and then you can put it in an extract, which is a little bit more potent, more similar to what a dab is to marijuana.
Tell them the main question that people ask: does it get you fucked up or high?
So I wouldn't say it gets you.
I know it's a question that's not very formal, but I'm just imagining what the audience.
I mean,
would think.
if you're like kratom should be used more as like a tool, or if you're managing pain, it should be used as a crutch to kind of help you get through things. Definitely don't want people trying to get fucked up off of it.
Yeah.
It is possible, but you kind of have to be a real jackass to.
You have to
intentionally
take
get
enough
fucked
of
up.
it to.
Or
get
you have to
fucked
just have a
up.
misunderstanding of how much is the proper dosage. If you haven't taken kratom before and you take 10 capsules,
Yeah.
you're not going to feel great. But if you took maybe 3 to 5, you would feel the kratom and it would do, what it's intended to do, and you could kind of
So
get the value out of it.
The
from
most
that.
question I get when I'm working in retail, like they see the kratom on the wall and everything.
Sure.
Like, is
It
this
just looks
like
like
they keep
sand.
asking if it's cannabis? Is this gonna get me fucked up? Is this gonna
that's
do
right,
like that's
right.
the most questions I'm like. Then I have
You're
to
gonna get me
explain
high.
like what does it do,
Yeah.
like and what is it used for and stuff
Yeah.
like
It's
that.
more medicinal. I know that a lot of clients that we recommend it to, we recommend it for pain relief and for some sort of
Opioid
stimulant.
reliever, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I was in a car accident a couple years ago and my back and neck got real jacked up, and like I had to go to physical therapy for a year, got prescribed like painkillers from the doctor. At the time I was working a job in finance and was like supposed to present financial data, but I was taking like these pills that I was kind of off my rocker from. And I was like, I'm going to lose my job if I keep fucking up at work, because I was just like not in a great place mentally because I had like a massive concussion. And then also I was taking kind of too much drugs to be working. And so I started taking kratom because what kratom does is it acts on the same receptor in the brain that opiates do. So whereas if you think of it like as a piano key, like imagine that you have a piece of gum stuck to your finger and you're like touching a piano key very lightly. So it's not gonna like make too loud of a noise. It's gonna be like very gentle, but like that's like, think of that as a receptor in your brain. Whereas like if you were to take opiates and you were to take too much of them, it'd be like really loud banging on the key. And that's like obviously taking too much opiates can cause respiratory depression. That's how people pass away from opiate overdose. And so kratom is really great. I think the biggest use case for kratom is to help people manage pain in a way that's greatly reduces their risk of fatality, that kind of stuff. I'm not saying making any claims or anything like that, but I think kratom can be used as a tool to help people that are kind of going through pains, and also
Withdrawals and stuff, right?
yeah, so withdrawals is another big use case, or because it's acting on that same receptor in the brain that opiates do. It can kind of mimic the effect that people would typically get from harder things. While it's very not similar to those, because like when I use Kratom, like you'll see here, I just had like a third of this extract shot. It makes me a little bit more talkative, and it makes me feel a little bit more relaxed. But I mean, if I were to drink like 3 of these, I mean, yeah, I would throw up, and I would feel like shit. But I wouldn't be going to the hospital for it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so I want to know, how did you first like find out about Kratom yourself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it was probably 2017, and my buddy was in college, and he had an older brother that had taken Kratom. He wanted to stop drinking for an extended period of time, and like was going out to our parties and stuff, and was having really tough time like interacting with people. And Kratom kind of was a social lubricant from him and helped him take it, or helped him kind of get through that. And so that's how we were exposed to Kratom. And then all of a sudden we started taking it on Sundays, just because take a little bit of it and you'll feel pretty cozy and like want to watch a movie with your friends, loved ones, that kind of thing.
I can share a story about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So just to generalize, because again, if you're like me, I have a short attention span. Kratom is basically helps with pain relief, helps with withdrawals, also makes you feel more at ease. It's good for as a sedative. It's good for as a stimulant, and it has multiple purposes. It's all about how much you take and the type you take also. We'll get more into detail, but again, we don't want to make this into like a very detailed podcast where we just talk about the details. If you want more information, we can refer you to Adam's website, and then links that we can include in the links below. Other than that, we want to get down to like the more entertaining part of the aspects about the side of the podcast. So the story I wanted to share was when I first got into like the smoke shop business. This was years ago, and when I first saw Kratom, I thought it was some sort of I don't know, like I don't know what it was. It was just a supplement that was very popular where I worked at, Oasis Smoke Shop on Union Road, which self-proclaimed king of Kratom. So, yeah, and he
Well
knows
aware of the king of Kratom.
Yeah, so he's well established within like the community or within Buffalo area at being like the Kratom guy. So I remember like just starting out selling them, but one day, and that's my first time sharing. I don't know if T, I shared it with T.
I didn't hear it, so I want to hear it. Too.
Okay,
I'm
So,
excited.
At first, I was since I'm Muslim, by the way, and I want to know if it was halal to consume, and it is. After the research I've done, it is halal to consume.
Give them what's the definition of halal.
So halal means if it's allowed within like the Islam religion, and I don't want to give any misinformation, but from the articles I've read and stuff that I've asked, that if you use it for the right intentions and it is more beneficial than negative, it is considered halal, which is again allowed, permissible in our religion. So after doing that research, I was like, okay, let me see if it can benefit me, because the time I was at college, and I was with college and I work at the same time. It's high stress, high anxiety. So I decided to try one of the capsules, right? Mm-hmm. So bear with me. I took it at midnight. This is late at night, and again, I thought it would help me like do like a nice study session and whatever. And I took the extracts.
How many are you taking extract?
Extract, yeah.
The
We're not getting
capsule.
So like
we're not
this
getting free
this
publicity to the company.
Okay,
I
okay.
took-
They don't
like
have to
this
say the name.
basically, but
Yeah.
the whole thing probably, or too much of it.
I took the capsules, like
Oh, the
very
capsule
concentrated.
extract. Yeah.
Mm.
And I took at first one, and I was impatient. I didn't feel nothing for
Takes
the
a
first,
while to kick
for,
in.
for 15 days. Then I took another one.
It's like an edible, where
Yeah.
like you're
Yeah.
like you take one of it, an hour later you're like, I don't feel shit.
You
You get all
take one.
cocky, it doesn't do anything to me.
Exactly.
And then like 2 hours, it does kick in, but like you take another one in that hour span, and you're like
You're on the
in
floor,
a different
fucked up. and
planet.
shit. Yeah.
Yep. So I tried my second one, and then after like an hour, I felt a little something. I was like, you know what? Let me push this a bit in my boundary. And I took 3 capsules. And if you guys don't know, you're only supposed to take one.
Not even one, because you're a beginner. You're not supposed to take
Yeah, it's my
extracts,
first
right?
time. Again,
Exactly.
when you're ignorant on the task and you wanted to try the products for the sake of your customers and yourself, you do things. You do these kind of things. All right. But I did my third one, and then at first, I'm not gonna lie, I did feel it for a bit of a euphoric feeling, very pleasant feeling. I put some music, listened to some music, and it was just chilling out. And then I got really nauseous.
Yeah.
I got really nauseous. But the thing
Wait,
is,
and you took 2 of the extract capsules, having never taken it before.
no, I took 3 actually.
Oh.
And I got very nauseous.
Taking it like that is haram.
Yeah. I wanted to know the effects and what I can refer to my customers. So in case my parents see this and or anyone I related to it. I was doing it for experimental purposes for the sake of business.
And your school.
And research and school. So I took my my third one, and I had an empty stomach.
Yeah, you had to throw up.
And I couldn't throw up, but my body
heaving?
wanted. Yeah, no, I went to the toilet. I felt very dizzy.
Making me feel sick, bro.
It got me very sick, and then it was a bad decision. I shouldn't have done it, but again, it was a learning point. I did realize that you're supposed to you have to follow your. Oh, I apologize about this. I have a phone call. We're gonna put this on Do Not Disturb. I'll get to that later. But basically, I took more than I should. I got very nauseous, but the effects I've gotten from the initial, from like the first like hour and a half, I did realize like why that it is pretty popular, because it did help me feel a bit of ease. It just, my issue was having too much, and then I did have a pleasant experience my second time when we had the drinks, the exotic drinks.
Yeah.
Those I was a really big fan of. Those I took one during like tough days, and then those helped me just pull through the day. Because again, early on, I was working like 6 to 8 hours while coming from school from another 6 to 8 hours. So it was a high stress moment. So taking one did help make things a bit easier, and it did for me, anxiety levels did reduce them. And again, I'm not trying to promote any misinformation. It's just based on my experience. I'm not a doctor. Again, Adam here is the expert, so he'll tell you if I'm right or wrong. Huh?
I don't know about expert. But
He's an expert. He's being humble right now.
that's like you saying you're an expert because you smoked weed since you were 18.
Well, you're the guy that owns the company, so you know what I mean. You know more than we do.
Adam is the
Inshallah.
co-founder of the the Kratom Company, and we've had his product. It's been around for a couple of years around here, and it does well. It has really good retention, right? So people who bought it have come around and bought it again, and it has a nice infographic on the back where it tells you the effects, and because there's different types also.
Yeah, so there's, for the most part, 3 different strains. There's a white, green, and red. White is more energetic. Red is more sedative and kind of what we recommend when people are trying to use it for pain management. And then green is kind of a hybrid in the middle. Like, I think green is like the best for a new user because it like gives you some more sedating effects, but also it can be energetic too. And so like I always like say like if I was gonna go to my like grandma's house and had to go to Thanksgiving or Christmas with like family and my aunt was about to talk my ear off, like the green would be best to kind of like make it as enjoyable as it can be, you know?
A lot of my customers, when they come buy Kratom, it's usually the green.
Yeah.
Like the most popular green,
Yeah.
then white, then red. But like usually when they buy red, they usually come buy it at night. You know what I mean? And then when they're ready to go to sleep.
Right.
That's what it's used for. Usually.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And every area is going to be different. Everyone's going to be different for what they want to use it for. Like sometimes I'll take the white if I'm like just starting my day, like have a green tea, have like 3 to 5 capsules of the white horn, and then I'm just focused, energized. I feel like it's very similar to what like taking like 10 milligrams of an instant release Adderall would be when I take a little bit of white with a little bit of caffeine. Very energetic, very focused. I can get through like menial tasks. Like if I have a long day of just like stuff I don't really want to do, it'll make it much more enjoyable, more focused. I'm not like looking around, switching topics every 15 minutes.
So is it true that the more you take it, like the more your tolerance is built up? Or?
Yeah, just like anything.
So it's basically it's like when let's say you're smoking, you
sure.
smoked for 10 years, and you have to build that tolerance
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean? Same.
It's similar like when you start drinking coffee. Like I don't really drink caffeine that frequently, or if I do, it's normally green tea. But when I start drinking coffee, like the first time I have like a quarter of the cup, I'm zooted. I'm just like wired, and I'm almost sweating, But after like a month of drinking coffee, I need like 1.5 cups before I get that same feeling.
Right.
And so just like I'd say Kratom is similar to coffee in that sense, is like if you can get addicted to coffee, I'd say you can get addicted to Kratom. They're very closely related. And
they come from the same. I heard they come from the same.
Very
plant,
similar family.
right?
Like,
Or same family.
The genus, I don't know the species.
Yeah.
I learned about it in school. I don't remember a damn thing about it, but like similar to
Or like they're the same family though.
Right.
Yeah. Can you just mix them together or no?
Coffee.
Like, let's
and,
say you have your coffee and your.
Oh, yes, that's a very regular way to do it.
Oh.
So, like, you wouldn't want to mix, like, red barley at the beginning of the day because it's more sedating, like
Yeah.
I said. But if you took some of, like, the white powder and mixed it with coffee, just, like, a teaspoon is what I normally use. And so a teaspoon and some coffee, mix it in. It doesn't stir well with anything. It doesn't, like, it gets clumpy. But if it's in a hot substance, it goes down better well.
Okay.
And then just to round up, because I do want to get more about Adam and his personal life, if that's okay. Because again, we got enough information about Kratom. I think a lot of people understand. And then if they do want a bit more research, they can do research on the links we have included. We'll get just narrow down one more thing, just very common questions we get about Kratom. But again, we're gonna venture off to more personal and ask Adam more questions, and T is gonna have more questions. I'm guessing based on his reaction. So I wanted to know, because I get this often question asked often, how do I from clients? Sometimes they build a tolerance, like T brought up.
Yeah.
How do they change that, or how do they alternate it? And also, we're not saying that Kratom is the perfect drug or the perfect supplement. There are some negatives to it, and then Adam will talk about that. So just two things: well, how do I handle building a tolerance to it, and also what are the drawbacks of Kratom? And then I'll let him continue off after.
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I'm sorry, because I was gonna have you another question. So when they see the colors on the Kratom, like there's
Yeah.
green, red,
And
yellow, like when they have like the colors, like does that mean like for the strain of the Kratom?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So, like, I'm not off the top of my head. I can't really remember what like marijuana is, but like indica sativa is how I think you should kind of think of it. It's always easiest when people are trying to understand Kratom for the first time to relate it back to marijuana, even though they're not like you don't feel the same from them, and they're definitely different plants. But it's easiest to help people understand for the first time, like relating it to like a sedating one is like sativa.
Oh, sativa, indica.
Okay,
Indica is more
indica's
sedating.
okay,
Sativa is more
indica's
uplifting.
exactly.
But just a quick way I can remember it is for a lot of maybe if you're a person that's looking into it, is a stop sign or stoplight.
Yeah, that's
Stop
what I
sign.
look at it too. I explain
green,
the
go,
customers. Yeah.
Red is for stop, and then there is yellow Kratom or
Yeah.
yellow is in between. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
Gentlemen? And then white, I'm just off based off memory, is a bit more on the
It's more energetic.
green, more energetic. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That is the best way. But you asked about the like tolerance and stuff. So, like I said, with similar to coffee, when you start taking something regularly, your tolerance is obviously going to build. Whenever I start taking Kratom, it's normally when I'm like really busy with work or have to do things that like are a little bit more exhausting for me. And so after like 3 to 4 days of taking Kratom, I know on the 5th day, like if I wake up and I want to take Kratom, that I shouldn't take Kratom. I just don't want it to become something that like I need to, get through my day. So like once I start using Kratom and I like am obviously it's I enjoy it, but like you just need to be wary of how you're using it because it can be something that you eventually your body will crave and become addicted to if you don't use it responsibly.
So the main question, that's what I've been asking about. I'm trying to ask. So, can Kratom become addictive, or like, is it easy? It's like, let's say you're on it for like a couple of years. Can you get out of it, or?
So like that's what I was saying is, if you're taking it regularly, your body will become dependent on it. Just like after a cup of like having coffee for 30 days, you drink coffee every day for 30 days, and you wake up and you try not to have coffee, you're gonna have a headache. And you're not going to feel great, and you're going to have low energy. The same is going to be for Kratom. Now, I've never gotten to that point. Don't really have an addictive personality. Like, I used to like sneak around my parents when I was like 17 and like hit vapes, and I would use it for a month, and then when I realized I was getting addicted to it, I would just cold turkey stop. And so, I think I'm different from a lot of people in that way. I would just try not to put yourself in that situation in the first place. But if you're using it for pain management and you do need it every day, I think it's something that there's not like a lot of long-term studies on the effects of Kratom. So I can't speak to if it does cause how it affects the body over multiple year span. Granted, me and my partners are going to be some of the first to know those effects because we are using it. That we're kind of like walking the walk with like using it every day, using it very consistently 3 to 4 times a week, probably minimum for myself. Probably like 3 to 4 times a day for like one of my partners, and so I think it can be addictive, but I would just do your best to use it responsibly, and not put yourself in that position. But it is what it is. And
Just like anything
Yeah.
can be helpful and thing, but
Yeah.
no matter how much you take or how you abuse it, is really a defined.
It's the mindset you have
Yeah.
for anything. Yeah.
And so when people say like, "Oh, I heard that's like really addictive," it's like, same goes for nicotine, same goes for coffee, same goes for, anything that makes your body feel, elevated
Yeah.
in some way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so now I think we're done with the Kratom aspect, but I want to get something. We're not a PG podcast, by the way, so
Okay.
we are gonna get to
Drop some F-bombs in there.
Yeah. So
can say whatever
we
you
might say some questions. We might not include these questions if they're a bit too controversial
Or haram.
Or haram. So what's it called? I wanted to throw a curveball at my boy Adam,
Yeah.
and I know he deals. So how old are you, Adam?
I'm 26.
26. You see, 26 and already running
But we're the
business.
same age.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm turning 26 next month.
Gotcha.
Say,
Happy birthday.
18th. Thank you. When you turn 27? This month or
May,
you just turned?
in May.
Oh, May. You're sorry. Oh, I thought you were like, I'm not going to lie. I thought you were like 30, 35.
No, I thought he was 24.
All right. I don't know how to take that, but I appreciate it.
Oh, I know. As a compliment.
Yeah.
But so I wanted you visit shops, right?
Yeah.
You're based in Michigan, am I correct?
Yep.
So how often do you travel? What shops do you visit? And if you can share, I'm going to just go to this question. Share like a crazy experience you had visiting the shops, because a lot of the owners of smoke shops are very eccentric, and they grow up as they're savvy, they're business savvy, but they grow up because they kind of have an affection or they like this industry because they're also
It's easy. That's what they think.
not easy. I'm trying to word it in a way where but basically the owners of a lot of smoke shops are different, and I'm curious to know
Very wide variety of
yeah, wide variety.
personalities.
So
You can find
I'm-
anybody like
yeah.
that owns a shop.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious on like what experiences have you had dealing with them, and then what are some crazy stories you can share with us?
Yeah. So based in Michigan, just outside of Detroit, from Plymouth, Michigan.
Mhm.
Travel. So when I first started traveling for our company doing sales, it was in Florida. So I'd moved down to Florida mid-COVID. It was cold here. Didn't like all the rules about COVID. And so I went to Florida, lived down there for 2 months. Just would drive every day
Shout
after
out Florida,
work.
man.
What was that?
Nothing.
Shout out to Florida. He said, yeah.
Drive. I was staying like just outside of Orlando, so I would drive to Orlando. I would drive to Tampa, and just kind of explore and look for good shops like the ones that you have in Buffalo, Oasis. It's ones that are set up, that are properly set up with large amounts of inventory, and have someone behind the counter that knows what they're talking about, and have a business owner that's there day to day that does give a shit. That's the most important thing for me, at least. Even if it's not the sexiest shop, having someone that does care about what they're selling, that is informed, all that good stuff. And so that started in Florida. Came back to Michigan a few months after, quit my job, went full time. I think like March 2020-ish. And then since then, I've been traveling around the country, smoke shop to smoke shop, staying in Airbnbs and hotels, and selling Kratom almost every day. I normally spend about, of a month, I'd say like 22 to 25 days on the road a month.
Wow.
And so we're kind of in like the relentless stage of it, where like it needs to be like every single day and we've like seen great growth from it. But
So are you the only one that's driving, or you have other people?
no,
that-
so there's someone at home that manages the finances,
Yeah.
manages the inventory, the warehouse, and then there's 2 of us that are on the road doing sales full time, and my other partner handles the manufacturing.
It's a good team you got then. Like,
Yeah.
Just
It's 2 other guys I went to school with. We went to Michigan State University, and we lived together in school. We're just getting drunk 4 or 5 times a week, like absolute brothers. And then we started taking Kratom just because we enjoyed it. The business really started because we realized that like what we were buying was dog shit. Like what you could find in smoke shops was not quality. And you would buy one brand and it would fluctuate in quality from time to time. And that like for like someone that wants to, have brand loyalty, having a consistent product for your customers is essential. If you go there and you try this one time and it's excellent, and the next time you come back and it's dog shit, then you know you're not going to come back to the brand.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to like have that. And so that's kind of why we started. Is we're finding really good stuff online buying Kratom, and then we were like, if we can find it online, we could probably get it from the source. And then we started buying it from Indonesia. My partner went through probably like, I don't know, like 40, 50 different suppliers, like just ordering like $100 worth of Kratom. Until it was like something that he was like, oh wow, this product is different from what I've had in the past. And then once we started, you know, ordering it in bulk, and we were then having it manufactured, which was pretty big leap from like where we were. We had the brand created. Another buddy from school had the bags designed. The Kratom Company was born, and then we had only like 40 kilos of inventory and had to manufacture every single small sale. We had 3 guys who had never sold anything in their life before, and just would walk into a smoke shop not knowing anybody, having no relations in the industry, and walked in and just absolutely do whatever we could to get someone to try our product, give it to them for free, consignment, any deal we could cook up, we would get them to try it. Now, not so much like that. We have a little bit higher standard for ourselves, but at the beginning, it was just as like ragtag as it got.
I think that's how it is for every business that starts up, to be honest. You got to, find a way to get it to the customers and stuff like that.
I mean, it was straight up embarrassing. Like walking into these stores, like who are you? Like I was like a 22-year-old, 23-year-old kid, and they're like, I've never seen this before. I don't know who you are. You're stumbling over your words. Why would I buy it?
Sometimes they think like you're like a cop or something in China. You know what I mean?
And
so
like,
they get suspicious of it. So you got to explain yourself and stuff like that. And
yeah, for sure.
But you said you traveled like most of the month. Not available. So again, I want to take this part of the podcast and talk about personal. Are you in a relationship?
No.
I'm telling you guys. Okay. But for the ladies out there,
ladies laughing over there.
No, I gotta make sure. Okay. So I'm telling. How do you handle your, your passion side of the?
Okay, you're asking.
I'm gonna ask. If you're not coming, are you coming to?
No, that's fine.
Okay. I wanted to because we don't want this to be all about podcast and about Kratom, and it's very informational for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But we want people to know Adam, and then his personal.
They want to know Adam too. I know what
we're
you're
gonna know
talking.
Adam. We're gonna know until he says no, it's enough. Leave me alone.
Until he just leaves and gets so hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So tell us how you cope with having another partner.
He's just throwing bullets at you,
Yeah,
Adam.
no, we're good. So I mean, I'm traveling like 25 out of 30 days of the month. My sole and main focus right now, not sole focus, but the main focus is growing this business to something that, in the future can provide for me and mine, take care of my family, take care of kids, make sure that, we're living in a way that's quite comfortable. And I know that this is that part of, that journey. And so I enjoy it as much as I can. I go on plenty of dates with girls, but like, it's kind of just more of like trying to figure out if it would be compatible with my lifestyle. Like my lifestyle is pretty ridiculous to ask someone to come in and, be a part of. And I wouldn't really expect someone to completely understand that. And like, there are some that do, there's some that don't. And then you kind of just take it from there. If they want you to be there every single day, every day, that's not going to be something that's really great for me right now.
Exactly.
Eventually, down the line, that could work. But when you're working like 12, 14-hour days, got to make time for the gym, eating food, that kind of stuff.
Especially if you get in a relationship like that, like you're supposed to be committed to that relationship. Like if you're, let's say, traveling 22 out of the 30 days, she gonna like think, what's the point of,
it's no hard feelings, bro.
You know what I mean?
On the road 25 out of 30 days, I would not expect someone to
wait for you, for those 8 days a month, like, you know what I mean?
But
they might just find it
if
different.
they were to understand why I was doing something and understand the vision of what it could be, that's like the first step in like seeing if something would actually be worth the effort and time that it takes for something like that to work.
Exactly.
So,
Once you build your company and build yourself up, then you can have, you know what I mean?
As the company becomes bigger and more successful, there's more time. No, there's just the girl's always there, but like there's more time for freedom. Like I
Yeah.
can spend more my time, hanging out with loved ones, doing things that I enjoy besides working, and that's when that will come along. Is when things are once this is established, you can work on the next part.
Okay, that's what they say. Business, and then everything else follows. Okay.
Because everything builds up after, like, you do this, like, you build your
Yeah.
own stuff, and everything just
I was trying to get
clicks,
some dirty stories. I'm not gonna lie, but again,
That's what he's trying to-
But yeah, it seems it's gonna be a bit wholesome.
That's how we're trying to keep it halal.
Okay, halal. Okay. Other than that, you said you drive, right? You
Yeah,
mentioned that
yep.
you
So
drive around.
I always will like leave my home in Michigan, go to our warehouse, load my entire car up to the point where like my car is being weighed down, and then drive it to wherever it is. Right now, I'm spending a lot of time in Texas. Just our business hadn't expanded there. Beginning of like February, it was quite cold in Michigan in the Midwest, and I was like, this ain't it. I'm trying to be warm. I have some good friends that live in Austin, and so things just kind of aligned perfectly for me to start heading down there. And so normally when I leave Michigan, I'll go to Chicago, handle business there for about a week, then go to St. Louis, go to Kansas City, go to either Kansas City, Springfield, Missouri, and then go to Oklahoma City, and then down to Dallas, where then Dallas, Austin, then San Antonio, then Houston. And that normally takes about 2 months. Occasionally I'll fly home or fly to see friends, depending on what's going on.
Do you ever get tired of just driving all those like for months? Like if I were driving for like 2 months, whatever straight, I'd be like exhausted.
I mean, it is what it is. Someone's got to do it. This is my business. If I want it to work, it comes with it. It's not my favorite thing being in the car for like when I go from Michigan to Dallas or Michigan to Houston, Dallas, whichever one you want to call it.
Drive from there.
It's like 4 hours because you're like driving to Chicago, which from Michigan is about 4 hours. Then driving to
How many tickets do you have so far?
At first I was racking. I was racking them up. But I've been blessed recently, inshallah, that I haven't gotten as many. The last one I got pulled over last week actually. But I was coming home from Chicago. I was like 10 minutes away from my place. But I just had Taco Bell like an hour before, and like I had to go.
Oh,
and so like I got pulled over, and the cop pulls up to the window. He's like, "Sir, it's like 1 a.m."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Sir, have you been drinking?" And I was like, "No," but like I like grabbed the Taco Bell bag, and I'm like, "Sir, I really got to use the restroom. Like I'm sorry for speeding. Like normally don't do this." And he's like, "Oh, I got you. Okay." He was like really really cool about it. Shout out whoever. Officer Schwartz is.
You know,
And then that just shows that in the future, carry a taco bag with you whenever you're
and
in
I
the
thought,
car
I was
seat.
like, damn, that was a fire way to get out of a ticket, but it was true. I'm sure you could see it in, like, I was sweating, you know.
What state was that in?
I was in Michigan.
Oh,
I was
Michigan.
coming home, but yeah, getting down to Texas, it's like 3 to 4 hour drives, and then staying in hotels, Airbnbs, every single night, just depending on what looks good.
Do you ever sleep in the car? Have you ever slept in the car before, or you just
Not for the business, no.
not for the business?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, he's co-founder of the Kratom Company.
Okay, I'm just
He doesn't
saying,
sleep in
like-
cars. He sleeps in luxury hotels. I
No,
get you.
no.
Oh.
When we first started the business, we were running it as lean as possible.
Yeah.
And that's like where the kind of crazy stories that you're asking for come from is
That's what we
just the
wanna hear. We wanna hear
Airbnbs that I was staying in were like
Juicy,
that-
Jennifer,
that-
we were
juicy
trying-
stories.
We were
Yeah.
running it so lean because we were like we could barely afford our inventory orders, let alone like
A hotel.
a
or something.
$250 hotel. And so I was staying in Airbnbs, and the goal was to get it for like $50 to $70 a night, which was some pretty low end living. And so there was some times where I like came into, I specifically remember one in New Jersey, come into the Airbnb. It's like got the little keypad on it. It's a self check-in. So I walk in, and there's like these 5 cats on the couch, just all smoking a joint. And I just look at them, and I was like, and the kid's eyes are just glazed over, just fried as can be. And I was like, "What up?" And he just doesn't say anything, and they all just look at me. I was like, "You're good. Like, I don't live here. I'm just staying in this other room." Just walked to my room, but they were didn't look like the type of crowd I wanted to be hanging around. They looked pretty fucked up, maybe a little bit besides weed. I'm not sure what it was, but I was like,
Jersey, that's why.
and
Joking, by the way. No.
so I just stayed in my room that night. I don't even know if I showered. Another time, I roll into an Airbnb. It's self check-in again. The self check-ins where they get you, and also that you sleep on. You're like, oh, this one looks nice, but then there's other people sharing the same Airbnb. And,
I didn't know they had that thing. To be honest, sharing Airbnb.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
They do
I
it
did not
regularly.
know that. To
It's
be
a
honest.
like
Oh, wow.
from having stayed in so many of them, I kind of know like the layout of like what's a nice one and what's not. But like I roll up to this one, I get to the I like get past the living room, and like as I'm putting in the key to the door, actually, I hear music just blasting. I was like, what the fuck? And I walk in. There's like 20 kids in the kitchen, which you can see directly from the front door. And they're like, there's pizza on the counter. There's booze. There's like a ton of girls, bunch of dudes, and they're like having a little party at this Airbnb. And they just like
Was it
they just like
their
look at
own?
me.
Or so there was someone else.
No, they were renting an Airbnb. They had some
Themselves.
cheap ass room like me,
Oh, okay.
and they invited their whole crew over because
Oh,
they thought
wow.
they had an empty house. And granted, I rolled in at like midnight because like I wrote like get home late, and so I just like look at them. They look at me. I was like, no, keep going, do your thing. I'm just staying in this room, and they're like, oh, he cool, and I'm just like, I was like, yeah.
I don't know if I was you, I would probably report it, and I would have snitched. I would have been a Karen.
No.
Oh,
I
wow.
would've been
Look at this. Now we got a
I would've-
Karen.
They would have gotten a
That ain't it.
paragraph
That
from
ain't
me.
it. You just gotta kind of tough it out in that situation.
Just stay in your room. Don't bother. Like, you know.
Yeah, but like
That's-
you're
it's-
there.
Sleep.
Exactly.
His main thing was
But they're
just to go and
interfering.
sleep and leave. That's
He
all.
can. The music
Yeah.
is like they're interfering with like
Yeah.
you're paying for that room. You're paying for some peace and quiet, and then there you are getting a lot of disturbance.
Right.
I just
Yeah,
know
so
something
I
about
would-
you today. You're a Karen.
No, you got. I mean, if you're traveling, okay, you're traveling like most of the month. You're busy.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a busy person. Okay, what do you do to for fun? Like activities? Like, are you going from like areas you're not familiar
He probably
with?
has like a week vacation and stuff like Christmas and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but like if I work 2 weeks straight, like I don't know, I'd probably binge all the anime I can find, but like I can't.
Anime guy, yeah.
Huh?
Anime?
That's me. Okay. But
Football.
how would you find stuff to keep you preoccupied? I know, like it's not natural to. I mean, there are people out there. I'll say psychopaths that can work like 18-hour days, 16-hour days.
You're looking
just
at
complete
one.
work. I'm. If you are, props to you. To be honest,
No, I mean I gotta get my like
But
sleep.
you have
If I
to
don't
have,
have my sleep, like if I don't have like my like, I have like a eye mask. Or I'll throw like a pillow tight over my head or wrap a t-shirt on my head. If I don't have my sleep, I'm the biggest bitch there is. So like
You gotta get your time.
for fun, like, you know, I'm a fucking grown ass man now. I don't need to have fun. I'll have fun
He
like
had
when
fun
the
in his-
time
Still playing
comes.
games? I still play video games.
No, but like there is, you know,
We just get off
I'm just
camera.
kind of more in the stage of like if I'm gonna fuck around and like go out with my friends, it needs to be like with people that I love and like want
Yeah,
to be around. It's
exactly.
not just to like, oh, it's Friday, like let's pop off. It's like
That's when you were like in your 20s
yeah,
and 21s.
I've been doing that shit for like 10 years now, and like getting drunk every weekend just because it's the weekend is
Nah, halal,
it's
halal.
it's not halal, and it's kind of a waste of time, and you can't grow anything.
You realize that like
worthwhile.
when you grow up and stuff like, oh, well, I did this when I was young, I was suited me. But when you like grow up and mature, I'm like, oh damn.
Yeah,
like,
and
you
I'm
know
not
what I
trying
mean?
to act like I'm like some mature motherfucker.
No,
like I still like will
Yeah.
dance my face off and like look like a jackass, but at the same time, like there's a time and place for it. So like when I'm on the road, you know, I wake up late as fuck, probably like 10, 11, because smoke shops don't open until then. So shower real quick, get to a smoke shop, try to hit like 15 to 20 smoke shops in a day.
Wow.
Just looking for people that meet like yourself, and then at like 8 or 9 o'clock, I'll look for like a Lifetime Fitness or a higher end gym in the area, and then go work out, sauna, shower, figure out what hotel's closest and cheap, and then rip it there.
I feel like shit now when
I
I go to the
have-
gym. It's been like 6 months I haven't been to the gym. So.
You can get it back. No, you can get it back. It's not
I
that
have
hard.
a shoulder injury and I can't go there. I don't know. what's
No.
wrong. I'm just waiting for it to heal. So
That
I just,
ain't it.
that's an excuse
That
I'm
ain't
it.
using
That's
right
an
now.
excuse, though.
That's
Yeah,
an
build those
excuse.
legs up.
Bro, I
No.
never. I skip leg days. I can't do leg days. They're so boring.
Oh,
Yeah.
but
do leg days.
I know you've talked to hundreds of smoke shop guys and workers, and you have. I'm more than 100% sure you have built up aggression towards a few of them.
I know,
And-
I have,
Huh?
and- 'cause
Like
when I-
because when we just started doing the whole social
Yeah, I can think of a couple.
and we get frustrated with dealing with certain. I'm not gonna name it. I love all of you guys, but I know you have some moments, or there are some incidents that happen where you dealt with certain clients that just like boggled you that you want to just right now use this moment and this platform just to release your
Or anger.
intentions that you
Your
want to
intention.
tell them and then share the
There's
moments you
there's
have.
no
I have a
hard
story
feelings.
for that too. If when he finishes, for
There's
that
no
too.
hard feelings.
See-
It just comes down to business is business, and some people do it. Some people want the cheapest price and will pay for the cheapest price, even though
Yeah.
they're getting dog shit quality, and that's not the brand that we're running.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to be like the higher end side of
I-
Kratom. We pay more for our stuff.
Yeah.
We pay more to package it. It's supposed to be similar to what Grey Goose is, the liquor. Like we want our Kratom to be the
Consistent.
Kratom Company is to Kratom. You know,
Mhm.
it's not easy to get high quality Kratom. It's a big growing market, but it's a decent sized market, and there's a lot of competitors. And so, if someone wants something to be the cheapest there is, like I'm not it. And that is what it is. And so sometimes we go in and say like, hey, I'm Adam. I'm with the Kratom Company, this and that. And like they don't care about the brand or
Yeah.
anything or like what we're trying to do and like educate people, but they just want the lowest price. And I'm like, hey, this is
not
I'll give you our best prices if you
Yeah.
buy it in bulk, like you need to for those prices. But if that's not the case, then no hard feelings. But like sometimes people will raise their voices or get aggressive.
So
and
they'll
it's
tell you a
like-
lie
That's the one
too.
we hear.
Exactly.
And I got to mention that the hardest issue with Kratom is getting consistency between each batch. But with the Kratom Company, I have had no complaints or negative feedback that come back. Hey, this bag didn't work for me, but it's been consistent throughout, so I can attest for the quality.
Shukran,
But
habibi.
tell us about the stories where you had to throw like bags or capsules at certain clients or like that. You said you get
Like
some
hit them
angry-
over the head with it.
yeah. That's what we, because if you deal with because we have our stories.
Yeah,
We
I have a lot. I have a bunch of them. I have
customers
a
here.
lot.
We deal with we deal with customers every day. We love them all, but we do have these moments where it's like written out of a movie and it just happens. And I'm
Yeah.
sure you can
Yeah.
can share some.
I know like most of it comes from negotiating. Like that's the either like or I'll give someone like when we were first starting, we would do deals on consignment where we'd give people free product up front and say, hey, if it sells, then you pay for it. Then if it doesn't, then I'll pick it back up. And we would give them like a gesture of good faith, saying like we're gonna give you this, and then I'd come back, it'd be all gone, and they wouldn't want to pay their bill. And it's like, hey, motherfucker, no, it doesn't
That's
work
not
like
how
that.
it goes, right?
And like, at first, I could get
you
walked
break out
over
the
a
bat.
bit.
You take out the
No,
bat.
I don't-
No, he don't bring out this. He's trying to keep it professional, like you with the
No,
back.
no, yeah.
For
But,
all
like,
you guys, if you
just-
could do
just-
that, watch out. We got a team behind that.
No, it's like people for the most part, like and then when they don't want to pay their bill, like if I go and tell your employee that you're not paying my bill, like how's he expect to get paid? You know,
Right.
like there's ways to kind of undermine your authority if you think you're not going to pay a bill, which is interesting. It's part of the game and part of the headache, but it makes it fun.
So what happens when they don't pay their bill? Like in they
We
just
don't
like
share
no.
those stories. 'Cause
No,
those
that doesn't
stories-
really happen, man.
Oh.
You'd be surprised. Like people pay their bills.
But it takes forever for them to pay. I know how it is.
Yeah,
because I did it so many times. And
It does. I had one that we gave some product to up front, October of last year. They didn't put it on their shelves because they were building something out at a new store for 6 months, and they were supposed to pay their bill in the first month. And they're like, "Oh, just take it back." And I was like, "That's not the deal we cut. Like, I need my payment."
Yeah.
Also, I was like, "This could be a good opportunity," and so we're just negotiating. Got them paid like a third of it, and then it took until recently to get paid up on all of it, and we had fronted a good bit of product, and so
Wow.
if we were in a desperate situation, that would be a lot more stressful. But we haven't kind of come up to that. But no, knock on wood. Alhamdulillah.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, I think that wraps up our podcast.
For today.
We appreciate Adam for coming through.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, Adam.
Of course.
And then also the Kratom Company. I can't speak anymore. I can't speak any highly of it more. I can't even talk. But we all like it. The customers love it. If you do want to carry it and you're a retailer, Prism Wholesale does carry it or will be carrying it very soon. We're still setting that up.
What about for customers like
For
retailers?
customers,
Yeah.
it's at Oasis. It's at
Prism.
a part of Oasis. We're gonna get them all to all Oasis shops. It's at Prism, and then also they have a website. But first, go to the retail shops.
Yeah, go to
The retail.
Oasis
Go.
Smoke Shop in Buffalo, New York. You can find it there.
Say that.
You can go to the kratomcompany.com and search for the store locator, and that'll pull up all the stores that you can find
Oh,
it at.
that's- yeah.
And from there, you'll see Oasis and Prism, and you'll see all the stores on the map, and you can find what stores are closest to you to find it.
Yep. And then also they have a website.
Can you order through the website
Can
or
I, can I
not?
say that?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
order through the website. I would prefer them come to you first, just to keep you guys ahead of the website.
Yeah.
But if they can't get
That's
it from
whatever
you,
convenient for the customers,
Yeah,
to be
exactly.
honest. You know
The
what I
most
mean?
convenient is it?
if you're bedridden for some reason or you're sick and you can't get out of bed, then we'll have it shipped straight to your house, no free shipping, and you can get it that way.
All right, you heard it here, guys. The Kratom Company. Adam, thank you for being our first guest. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
Double pound.
Hopefully, when you're in town again, we can set up a little something. If this is still going around, please, guys, support so we can feel some sort of motivation for this.
Subscribe to it. Yeah.
So make sure you follow, and then also big shout out to Danny for helping setting up this booth. I want to show some love and
Danny the boy.
Danny the man.
Danny boy.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man.
Thank you, guys. Let's wrap it up.
That's it.
Thank you.
Audio Jungle.